For the past 5 months, I've been preparing for this moment. Over the next 4 days, I'm going to sell 1,500 comics and graphic novels. And nothing will stop me. I will fight hard for my series. Victory will be mine. And I will become greater. This morning I woke up at 4:30 and was anxious to get back on the front lines of Comic-Con. I have to admit, I was pretty nervous, especially at first. After a 5-month break from the convention scene, it feels great to be back on the floor despite my anxiety. Setting up took no time at all, and once everything was in place, I was feeling a lot more relaxed. Now I just had to do my thing. The first hour was off to a rough start. My neighbors at this show had some sort of giveaway thing going on, and so people started lining up down their booth, and eventually the line got so long that it blocked off my booth completely. As you can imagine, this wasn't something I was exactly happy about, but I knew it wouldn't last long, so I just rode the wave and tried to work as many sales as I could, and lo and behold, I finally made a sale after about 30 minutes of straight rejections. It sucked, but now that I got one sale, I knew I could do it again. Working a convention is like chopping down a tree. You just got to keep working the crowd and making your pitch. And before you know it, you start to build confidence. And once you have confidence, you become a force to be reckoned with. The day was good. I managed to sell a little over 300 books, which means I have a little under 1,200 left over the course of the next 3 days. My greatest advantage right now is that I made a major dent in my graphic novel inventory. The 1,500 comic book battle is off to a solid start. Now, time to rest up and get ready to do this all again tomorrow.
Sorry, guys. Oh, excuse me.
Sometimes making a buck in comics means you might actually have to chase after it. There's nothing fun about running through thick herds of people while I've got customers back in my booth who are just trying to pay for their books with their credit cards. Normally, this isn't an issue, but thanks to some sort of block on my cell phone reception, I suddenly couldn't process credit card transactions, and so every time someone wanted to pay with plastic, I had to leave my booth and rush to an area where there was reception. I made about 10 runs like this, back and forth, and by day's end, my feet were on fire, but no sale was sacrificed. It was a price worth paying. I collected a brutal amount of rejections today, but I let none of that faze me. I just stayed focused on what I came here to do. Eventually, I stopped getting rejections and started making more and more sales. In the first hour, I sold nearly 60 books. After that, I kept the day going and was selling anywhere from 40 to 55 books an hour. By midday, the Eastern Shin Warrior and Defender graphic novel was sold out. From there, I was able to make some serious headway. I kept working at it, and by day's end, I sold over 500 books at the show, which means I've already sold over half of the inventory I brought with me. Hopefully Saturday will be just as kind to me. Today was a rush. I was in the zone and making sales left and right. My goal was to cut into as much of my remaining inventory as possible to ensure victory for Sunday. The floor wasn't always packed though. There were periods where the herds thinned out, moments when it was so jam-packed, but I just couldn't get anyone to stop and hear my pitch. It was frustrating, but how I felt didn't matter. I had to remain focused so I could make the next sale. I kept at it, and then I noticed that I only had 3 Fallen Avenger graphic novels left. And of course, they all took forever to sell because it was impossible to get anyone's attention. I was so happy when that last book finally sold. As soon as I finally got through those books, I focused my attention on selling the rest of Mark's and was able to do it within the last 15 minutes of the day. My graphic novel stock is now officially gone, and what you see here is all that remains. Tomorrow I'm putting the 1,500 comic book battle to a close. This afternoon I completed the 1,500 comic book battle with a few hours to spare. I'll be honest, I had no idea whether or not I could actually pull this off, and I'm still kind of shocked that I did. Having done so has made me realize that in order to become greater, you have to first believe that you are great. Emerald City Comic-Con served to remind me that, and I look forward to coming back next year with even more books to sell. Last November, the sun set on an era with Stan Lee's passing. Emerald City Comic-Con is the first show I've done since he left this world, and over the course of the weekend, I heard so many moving stories from his fans, who are also now fans of Yi. It's inspiring to see that Stan still means so much to people. And though his absence leaves a gap that will never be filled, I am motivated to make the same kind of positive impression on people that Stan did for me and so many of his beloved fans. Like Jesse Jackson said, never look down on someone unless you're helping them up. Where would I be? Where would any of us be without Stan's contributions to comics? He may no longer be with us, but there are creators out there like myself who are striving to carry on the legacy of comic book entertainment with new and refreshing stories. I am deeply honored and beyond privileged to have an endorsement from Stan, even though I've never actually worked for Marvel or DC. Stan made me believe that success can be found through your passion. Step onto any convention floor, and you'll meet hundreds of creators who are eager to get their work out into the world. All of us are fighting an endless war for our work to be seen and enjoyed by the masses. And may our blood, sweat, and tears quench your thirst for bold and daring storytelling. Living your dream and pursuing your passion is a lot of work, and your spirit will be broken from time to time. This is why it's so important to remember that you are not alone in this fight. We are all in this together. Stan lit the way for me, and his legacy will live on through Yi Sun-shin, as Yi Sun-shin lives through me. Today I will adopt the familiar battle cry that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Excelsior! Battle March isn't over yet. Next week I'll be back in the fight at C2E2. How will it all turn out? Tune in to find out. See you next week, Victory Seekers, and until then, onward to victory!